The Pacific Ocean stretched out, calm and endless, beneath the USS Chancellorsville. It was a routine day, sun on steel, sailors at work, the ship a distant outpost of American power. But in these waters, calm is always temporary. Deep inside the Combat Information Center, a young sailor spotted something unusual on radar. A blip, then another, then more. These weren't commercial flights. They moved fast, with intent. The report shot up the chain of command. The CIC's atmosphere tightened. The captain was notified. Officers on the bridge cross-checked the data. The contacts were real, unidentified and closing fast. Instantly, the ship shifted to high alert. Watertight doors sealed. The crew moved with purpose. The ocean's peace was gone, replaced by tension. The Chancellorsville's sailors were trained for this, but the suddenness was jarring. The sky, once open, now threatened danger. The ship, powerful yet alone, felt exposed in a contested sea. The unspoken question, who was out there and what did they want? The radar blips grew clearer. Something was coming. The crew braced for the unknown, every sense on edge. The calm had shattered. The arena was set. The Chancellorsville was about to face a test of nerves and skill. In moments like these, every decision could mean the difference between peace and conflict. The crew waited, ready for whatever would emerge from the sky. The next few minutes would define their day, and perhaps much more. The USS Chancellorsville sailed the South China Sea, a flashpoint where global powers collide. This isn't just water. It's a vital artery for world trade and a treasure trove of resources. China claims nearly all of it, building military outposts on artificial islands to enforce its reach. The U.S. Navy's presence is a direct challenge, asserting freedom of navigation and international law. Every transit is a calculated risk, a message that the sea belongs to all, not just one nation. Tensions have simmered for years, with military encounters growing more frequent and dangerous. Chinese pilots often fly aggressively close to U.S. ships and planes, raising the stakes. One wrong move could spark a crisis. The Chancellorsville's crew knew they were on the front line of a new Cold War. Their mission: uphold the rules, avoid escalation and show resolve. In these waters, every encounter is a test of discipline and diplomacy. The stakes are high, the margin for error razor thin. The world watches even if it doesn't realize how close it comes to the edge. The South China Sea is more than a map. It's a stage for power, risk, and restraint. For the crew, every day is a lesson in the balance between strength and caution. The drama unfolding above the waves is just the latest chapter in a long, dangerous game. The Chancellorsville was ready for whatever came next. The radar blips revealed hostile aircraft, Shenyang J-16S, Chinese strike fighters. These weren't routine patrols, they were armed, flying in tight formation, heading for the Chancellorsville. The ship's alert status rose. This was no drill. In the CIC, the tactical action officer coordinated every move, ensuring the captain had a real-time picture. Each sailor had a role, monitoring airspace, managing comms, tracking the ship's status. On the bridge, the captain stood calm, receiving constant updates. The ship held steady, careful not to provoke, but refusing to be intimidated. Lookouts spotted the jets as roaring shapes skimming the waves. The J-16S flew low, engines thundering, a show of force meant to intimidate. The message was clear. China was watching, and so was the world. The encounter was entering its most dangerous phase. The jets closed in, the tension mounting. The world's attention was focused on this patch of sea and sky. The Chancellorsville stood its ground. Inside the Chancellorsville, the crew snapped into action. General quarters sounded, sailors rushed to battle stations, every move drilled into muscle memory. Training took over, stripping away panic and replacing it with procedure. From engine room to bridge, every post was manned, every system checked. The ship became a fortress, sealed and ready. Tension was everywhere, felt in the silence, seen in focused eyes. Young sailors, many barely out of school, now stood on the front line of global power. They trusted their training, their officers, and each other. Communication was constant, status reports, coded messages, updates to command. The captain stayed in contact with Pacific Fleet, but the authority to act was his alone. Departments checked in, engineering ready, weapons ready, bridge ready. On deck, the roar of jets was overwhelming, the vibration passing through steel and bone. Sailors watched the fighters streak past, weapons visible, pilots in view. It was personal, intimidating, but they held their ground. Every report, every observation mattered. The professionalism of the crew was a quiet act of defiance. They were the ship's eyes and ears, standing firm under pressure. The world outside was chaos. Inside, order and discipline ruled. The Chancellorsville was ready for whatever came next. In moments like these, the crew's unity was their greatest strength. The test was not just of machines, but of human resolve. The Chinese J-16S circled the Chancellorsville, executing aggressive, choreographed maneuvers. One jet flashed past the bow, another skimmed the port side, a third dove and pulled up sharply. It was a show of force, a test of nerve. The captain ordered a warning broadcast. "Unidentified military aircraft, you are flying dangerously near a U.S. warship. Alter course and maintain safe distance." The message was repeated. The jets ignored it, engines roaring as they tightened their circle. The silence was a message. China was refusing to de-escalate. The situation was critical. Was this harassment, or the prelude to attack? The rules of engagement were clear. The captain could defend his ship if threatened. The Aegis system tracked every move, ready to respond. The line between standoff and conflict was razor thin. The captain chose restraint, holding course and speed. This signaled resolve without provocation, putting the burden of escalation on the Chinese. Defensive systems stayed ready, every crew member on edge. The world was watching, even if it didn't know it. The next move could trigger a crisis. The Chancellorsville's discipline was its shield. The encounter hovered on the brink. Every second felt like an eternity. The crew waited, ready to act if the line was crossed. The standoff dragged on, tension at its peak. The Chancellorsville's crew held their ground, following every protocol but never firing. The next move was China's. Suddenly, the lead J-16 broke off, waggling its wings, a signal. The others followed, reforming and flying parallel to the ship before turning away. With a burst of afterburners, they vanished into the sky. Relief swept through the crew. The immediate danger had passed. The captain watched the jets disappear, then ordered a return to normal readiness. Sailors resumed their duties, but the atmosphere had changed. They had faced a direct challenge and avoided conflict. No celebration, just quiet professionalism and relief. The mission, demonstrate freedom of navigation, avoid escalation, was accomplished. Both sides had stepped to the brink, then back. The crisis was over, but the lesson was clear. In these waters, peace is fragile, and disaster always a miscalculation away. The Chancellorsville's restraint had made all the difference. The world would never know how close it came, but the crew would never forget. The encounter was brief, but its impact will last. It was a symptom of the growing US-China rivalry, a contest of nerves and strategy. As China's military grows bolder, these incidents will only increase. Each is a potential spark for wider conflict. The Chancellorsville's crew showed that discipline and restraint are strengths, not weaknesses. Their actions set a standard for future operations, ready, resolute, but never reckless. The message to Beijing was clear. The US will not be intimidated and will defend international law. But the incident also highlights the urgent need for better communication to prevent miscalculation. The Pacific is now a crowded, contested arena. Peace depends on the steady hands and cool heads of those on the front lines. The ocean is no longer empty. It's a stage for power, risk, and restraint. The Chancellorsville's story is a warning. The margin for error is vanishingly small. On days like this, it's the professionalism of sailors that keeps the world from the brink.